So I'm Filipe Macedo from Lisbon, Portugal. I'm one of the co-founders of Talent Protocol, and we are building a platform that hopefully can bring more talented people into the Web3 and help kind of build the world of the future. I mean, I think we have two ways to look at this. Of course, if you look from the insider's perspective is one thing, and looking from the outside is other. But from the inside, what we can see is that, of course, this year has had a big crypto and Web3 market has had a big growth, and that also reflects on the growth in terms of especially funding. So there's a lot more projects starting this year, project that got funding, and so also the way that reflected in the job marketplace is that we have a lot more job postings and a lot of more people and new companies looking for people to hire. But seeing it from the outside, I think most people that could help these projects probably are not aware of this kind of job opportunities. So kind of the crypto space and Web3 space is still a very niche and small one, and very kind of closed in itself. So kind of we probably don't do a good job of communicating to the outer world what's happening and what opportunities we have and what needs we have. And probably people think that crypto is only for developers and people from finance, because that's kind of the overall impression that they have. But we need a lot. There's a lot more skills needed from marketing, design, community, and a bunch of other trends. I think also, of course, the whole world kind of saw a spike in remote work the past few years, but I think especially crypto, which is by design and by definition decentralized, that trend is much more dominant. So basically everyone in crypto and in Web3 works remotely, and I think that also is an opportunity to hire people anywhere in the world. So then we can see that in the crypto space there's a bit more diversity, and it's easier to have teams with people in different continents, for example. I think some of the, so to summarize, the trends are kind of working remotely, very globally distributed, lack of talent, a lot of opportunities, and funding, which means, of course, like with the market laws, that with not enough talent and a lot of companies hiring means that the salaries in crypto are probably way higher than in other industries right now. I mean, I don't have exact numbers or data about this, but from being inside the industry, almost everyone that's a founder or that's managing a company is looking to hire someone and is having a really hard time doing so. And like I said, the very high salaries are a reflection of that problem. But I think what's more interesting to try to analyze is, why is this problem happening? So if you have much bigger salaries in crypto, you should have the best talent, because I mean, you have the more money to get them. But the bottleneck here is, I think, first of all, like we mentioned, is visibility and awareness. So most top talent are not even aware that there are these opportunities in the crypto space. So awareness. The second one is also kind of credibility and reputation. So for some people, they might think still that the crypto space is a bit sketchy or unreliable, which is definitely not true. But I think kind of the media narrative sometimes may lead to that, which, of course, crypto is much more than just cryptocurrencies or just the financial aspect of it. Web3 and blockchain allow for different kind of use cases and a lot of different companies and startups that are not only financial companies. So the second one is reputation. I think the third one is the kind of the learning curve and the onboarding that we need to do to bring people to Web3. So Web3 and crypto have work in very different ways from kind of the old way of work. So it's not only a new technology, but it's a new culture. It's people kind of almost the language and the jargon that we use is different. Also the way that companies work, and if you kind of mention DAOs, but I mean DAOs would be whole another talk, but the whole organizations are set up is completely different, and bringing people or onboarding people to the crypto space, it takes time. And it's sometimes complex and hard for people. So I think that's the third and biggest challenge, which is I might have a lot of money to hire someone, but it will take me, I don't know, 2 or 3 months until they are kind of completely inside the crypto space and culture. And so yeah, I think that's probably the main problem that we should try to address, the onboarding people into Web3 more quickly and more effectively. That's a good question, and I think we can. So the solution to this problem of the onboarding problem, I think we can look at the solution in 2 different ways. So what can people do? Kind of people that are interested in getting in Web3, what should they do as individuals? But also what can we do as an industry and as companies to facilitate that? But answering your question, focusing on the individual first, I would say I wouldn't recommend going too deep into kind of technical stuff or reading kind of college or university materials about blockchain. You don't need to know, unless you want to be a Solidity developer. I don't think that's the way to go. I think the way to go is just start using it. So start learning crypto and Web3 as a consumer first. So download, install MetaMask and understand what a wallet is. Buy your first NFT. Try staking in some DeFi protocol. So get involved in a DAO and install this. Create a Discord account if you haven't one. So create a Discord account, join a DAO, start ask how you can help. So I think that's the best way to learn, is by getting involved. And there are a few projects that kind of help you do this in a kind of gamified way. So there's kind of Rabbit Hole, for example, is a project that kind of gives rewards and has kind of these bounties. People can do these small tasks and learn about crypto and then get rewards by completing these tasks. And I think that's a good way to start without a doubt. And I think that's the best way to learn, just doing it and getting involved and asking people. Also, another good resource is Twitter. I think Twitter is the main kind of information source about what's happening in the crypto space. So yeah, just start following the thought leaders in the space in Twitter, see who they are following, follow them as well. And yeah, just start getting used to reading what people say, getting used to the language, understand what GM means for crypto people, and other kind of slang things. And I think that's the best way to get in, and I think you'll find the kind of job opportunities. Probably the opposite of what you feel in the finance industry. So a lot more informal, a lot more open, I think, and easy. I mean, it might feel a bit difficult in the beginning because you don't understand kind of the slang and you don't understand how the kind of how the culture is. So you might feel a bit left out, but I think it's easy to learn that and to feel part of it. And of course, I didn't mean that you need to spend months doing this before applying to a job. Of course, you can apply to a job early on, but I think you still need to do this to understand. You will only kind of be good at your job when you understand how all of these things work and how the space works. And I think this leads to the other problem we were talking about. But because even if you apply to a job and you get hired, probably the company that hired you won't teach you any of these because that's the other side of the problem, which is onboarding. So most crypto companies and startups are very early stage startups, and some are even DAOs. So think of DAOs as big as co-ops, cooperatives, without the bureaucracy. So they are messy. So all these companies are messy. Most of them don't have processes or systems in place to onboard people. So it will be very hard. So people need to, I think, at least in this initial stage, that's why I was recommending for people to be kind of take control of their career in a way and be proactive and trying to learn this. But as companies and startups, we need to start figuring out ways of kind of onboarding people. And what might make sense is not kind of every company trying to do this by themselves, but finding ways, we as a space and as an industry, to do this together. So it's much more easy, I think, if we as an industry get together and try to come up with a solution to onboard people from Web 2 to Web 3, or to onboard them into the crypto space, and a solution that will help us all and help the industry grow as a whole, instead of just each of us trying to doing this by ourselves. So instead of me at Talent Protocol trying to create an education program explaining what's Web3 and an onboarding program, when I want to hire people, maybe we could have a common kind of onboarding program that all companies could use, and education program, kind of more broader one. There are some kind of more broad education programs, but I think they focus a lot on the finance side of crypto, only kind of how to buy and trade cryptocurrencies, which I think is just a part, I won't say a small part, but it's just a part of what the industry is. And I think someday it will be just a small part of what the Web3 can be. I think for what I've been seeing, my experience, the younger the people are, the easier it is for them to learn this and to excel in doing these jobs. But usually the most sought after talent in the crypto industry are actually very young. So some of them are 18 or 19 years old, and again, against kind of what happened in the past. The people that are kind of performing the best are probably the ones even without a university degree and without the formal kind of education or the credentials that we value or used to value before. So I would say, yeah, there's no right age to enter and no right degree, university degree. And you can see that people from 4 corners of the world with different backgrounds and different ages doing very good work in crypto. So I think, yeah, that's a good side of it. So it's much more open and fair in a way, but this doesn't mean that it is perfect. So there's still a lot of barriers stopping people to get into Web3. So for example, this kind of whole kind of learning curve, like we said, it means that you need to have the time to do kind of this tasks we were talking about. It means you must have the time and mental availability to learn all these things that take time. And for some people, people with 2-3 jobs, it's impossible for them to do this. Although there's opportunities that could kind of improve their life by a lot, they don't actually have the privilege to be able to learn it and to enter it. And I think that's also a problem we should try to address. The experience is always good. I think the caveat there is that usually the more you know and the more experienced you are, the less willing to learn new things you are as well. So people with kind of built a career and a reputation working or doing one thing for 20 years, I think are much less inclined to start over. So I've been building this great castle for so long. Why should I try to build a new house now from the scratch? And I think most of the times Web3 is exactly that. So it means you need to reinvent yourself and start from the bottom. Of course, not from the bottom because you have all that knowledge built in and the foundational knowledge, but you need to be willing to, to start in a new area and start over and reinvent yourself. And I think the higher you are in a career right now, the less likely you'll be to do that. As for kind of people who are also experienced but are not in a good place right now or lost their jobs or something like that, there's I think also an opportunity for them to kind of reskill and to learn new skills and to get into this space. Although there's always bias and prejudice, I think crypto, by being remote first and sometimes even kind of pseudonymous, so you don't know the real identity of people, means that there's will be less likely to have this kind of biases towards age and other ones, because we don't know people's age sometimes.